Arturia's Keylab series has been recognized as one of the best MIDI controllers on the market, in part because of its built-in DAW integrations that allow you to control many DAWs right from the controller itself, keeping you focused on making music and not on the keyboard and mouse. But in spite of these accolades, I found that the series has some unfortunate shortcomings as the center of a workstation. And with the MK2 generation of the Keylab now almost 4 years old, questions remain whether now is a good time to buy one or to wait for the next gen. Sup guys, I'm Peabody, a DJ and producer based in New York City, and today I'm doing a review of the Arturia Keylab MkIII. Now, I'm going to focus on where I think the Keylab comes up short, so I want to start by saying that I love this keyboard. I've had it for about 6 weeks now and slowly grown to just like it more and more, and overall it's just kind of won my heart. The bundled Analog Lab software it comes with is absolutely top class. So you're getting a really good controller along with access to some legendary synths in VST form, plus thousands of brilliant preset patches to get you going right out of the gate. But there are a few things that straight up disappointed me. Let's start with DAW control. So you might be thinking, wait, DAW control should be a strength, right? But while the Keylab has some fantastic integration with Ableton Live, which is the DAW that I use, it lacks Ableton device control. Device control in Ableton Live not only allows you to control parameters on devices on instruments on tracks, but seamlessly maps to those devices as you switch tracks. For example, if you have two VST synths on track 1 and 2 with some parameters like attack, decay, sustain, etc., the knobs and faders will automatically map to control those instruments when you select each track. This makes it super easy to tweak sounds as you are adding new instruments to your composition, without having to even look up from your keyboard, and it really helps workflow. Not to mention all the other effects and devices you might add to a track that you want to control with knobs. But Keylab can't do that. Now, if you don't use Ableton, then none of this is a big deal. But with so much other Ableton functionality like clip recording and launching available, it just seems like a strange shortcoming for us Ableton users. Speaking of clip recording, let's talk about the pads. Among the advanced Ableton features is easy clip recording by tapping a pad that corresponds to a slot to start recording, and clip launching for playback. However, rather than having 4 slots available across 4 tracks, the pads are set up with 2 slots across 8 tracks. Now, some might prefer this, but I find it much less intuitive and limiting. To me, it's easier to think that this pad is the 4th slot on track 2 rather than the 2nd slot on track 6. And it's limiting because I can't trigger the 3rd clip on track 2 and the 2nd clip on track 4 at the same time. Oh, and this is probably a good time to bring up the fact that there is no scene launching. You can only launch clips. Come on. Now you might think, that's fine, I'll mainly use the pads for samples and drumming. However, there is currently no option for full level on the pads. It's very common for people working with samples or finger drumming to set their pads to full level to make performance easier, and I know this will be a deal breaker for many people. You could adjust the velocity curve of the pads to a straight line or something like that to approximate a full level setting, but it's unclear why Arturia hasn't done this. That is a recurring theme in this review. Oh, also, no note repeat function. Additionally, whenever I watch reviews on YouTube of the Keylab, the pads always look thick, but they are actually almost flush with the keyboard. The lack of travel distance makes precise performing even more difficult and less expressive. Finally, I want to talk about the keybed. Now, it's fine overall. It's basically standard synth-style keys without any weighting. But I must admit this surprised me a little. The 88 key version of the Keylab comes with a fully weighted premium Fatar keybed for a real piano feel. The 88 key is of course the most expensive flagship version, but it made me think that perhaps Arturia as a company was looking to innovate with MIDI controller keybeds, and even though lower priced Keylabs wouldn't have fully weighted keys, they might try to offer improved semi-weighted key experience on other versions. For example, my 15-year-old 25-key Axiom controller has semi-weighted keys to offer some weighted feel. And the latest Oxygen line from M-Audio features full-size semi-weighted keys even on the 25-key version as well. So this just felt a little weird to me. Okay, that was a lot of criticism. So I want to reiterate just how much I like this thing and that I'm glad I bought it. Also, most of my criticisms have to do with the Keylab as a DAW controller, and it is of course a fully featured MIDI controller designed to control hardware synths just as much as digital synths and DAWs. But would I recommend someone buy a Keylab MkIII right now? many of the criticisms that I raised could easily be addressed with software updates. And the fact that that hasn't happened up to this point means it's probably not happening. That means that you're probably going to have to wait until the next iteration of the Keylab series to get these features. And so because of all this, I can't recommend buying the Keylab now if you're looking for top-tier DAW control or specifically Ableton control. At least anything other than the MkIII. Okay, that wraps up this review. Thank you so much for watching this. If you would like to know how you can sort of approximate device control using Arturia's MIDI templates, leave a comment. I'm considering doing a video tutorial on what I did to be able to control multiple devices fairly easily without too much resetting up.